Last Count Gordon, nothing is more important to this country than tackling the housing crisis head-on. After a decade of undersupply, rents are too high. We know that. Home building is too low, and too many young people can't buy their own home. And far too many of our most vulnerable are without a safe and secure roof over their heads. That said, there is cause for optimism and hope. Housing for All is the biggest housing plan in the history of our state, the single biggest intervention that any government has made in housing. It invests over $4 billion a year, an unprecedented amount, to build 300,000 new homes between now and 2030. And it is a fundamental step change in housing policy at a scale that we have not seen before. Capital funding, if we look back to just 2016, was only $400 million. Next year, it will be $4.5 billion. In addition to this, we're overhauling our planning laws to cut red tape and to streamline approvals to help get Ireland building. For the first time, there is a fully funded all-of-government approach which encompasses every single government department, and we do need all hands on deck to address this crisis. As I said, after a decade of undersupply, completions are up, planning permissions are up, and first-time buyer levels are up to the highest since 2008. They are facts. The plan is starting to work and will deliver 300,000 new homes by 2030 to finally help to solve the housing crisis that we are in. And some more facts. Only over 27,000 units were completed just in the last 12 months, while planning permissions of over 44,000. The scale of the challenge, Ahiocti, is enormous. Housing is an emergency for all of those people who are homeless, struggling to pay rent, or trying to find somewhere affordable to buy, and I've repeatedly said that. But there is light at the end of the tunnel, and Housing for All will get us there. And it's important for the record of the House if I could put down some of the key measures that have already been brought forward. We've established the game-changer First Home Shared Equity Scheme to help people buy their own home, people who are stuck in a rental trap. We've expanded the Help to Buy scheme, €30,000 for first-time buyers. We've introduced a new grant of €50,000 for vacant and derelict properties for people to help them defray the cost to buy those homes. The first affordable purchase homes in well over a decade, delivered through local authorities this year, starting at €166,000 in Dublin. We've established the Fresh Start principle in state housing schemes to support divorced and separated people. We've introduced a renter's tax credit that's worth €1,000 in 2023 for each renter. We've made cost rental a reality when many of those who spoke about it for years, 25% minimum below the market price and tenants in place now. We've expanded the tenant purchase scheme eligibility to include pensioners. We've passed our first Affordable Housing Act, and we've revamped and capitalised the Land Development Agency to focus on affordable and social homes. We've banned co-living and we'll end build-to-rent only apartments. We've capped rent increases, we've brought back over 6,000 voids already, 2,500 more we'll bring back this year, and we've expanded the really valuable Housing First programme to 1,300 new tenancies for vulnerable homeless people. And recognising the extraordinary pressures that people are under, we've brought forward and introduced a winter eviction ban. I want to assure the Dáil that I will use every weapon in our armoury to get bricks and mortar into the ground for homes for working people that they can afford and support those without adequate shelter. Unfortunately, today's motion is just about semantics, and it's not about action. Housing for All is a plan for the next decade, a plan that Deputy O'Brien just threw out after one day. However, he or any other opposition member have not yet produced any comparable detailed plan to Housing for All. And when it comes to actual policy decisions, Sinn Féin have been way behind the government on this. You called for €2.8 billion in capital funding, much less than the €4 billion that government are putting in, yet you will still say that you will build more homes for less money. It doesn't add up. Your pre-budget submission, just a couple of months ago, you didn't even specify how much money you would invest in housing, as you know it will be less than the government have put in, which combines Exchequer, HFA and LDA funding. And I take it, deputies opposite, that you don't want to see schemes like Shanganagh Castle, which are underway, producing 600 cost rental affordable homes and social homes because you oppose the Land Development Agency. You voted against it. But what we do know is that Sinn Féin don't believe it. I didn't interrupt any of them once. Don't believe in home ownership, and that is plainly obvious. Your alternative budget, what does it propose to do? It proposes to abolish the Help to Buy grant, which has helped 32,000 homeowners. It will scrap the First Home scheme that's already issued over 670 approval certs for people, many of whom stuck in a rental trap, to help them buy their own home. You oppose that. And inexplicably, Deputy, there's something wrong with giving homeowners a grant to help to do up vacant and derelict properties. You oppose that as well, the Croí Cónaithe scheme. And since then, and we know this, because it's a fact and you don't like it, you continue to oppose housing developments right away through this country, and in Dublin alone, over 6,000. So I do want to ask you that whilst your motion is about semantics and it's a cynical approach, I want to actually know what practical measures you will bring forward. And I do seek your support later this year, and I would ask you, on the floor of the House, will you support government's emergency planning measures that we will bring forward to expedite delivery of more social homes? And I look forward to seeing, and the Deputy will not confirm here, will you support measures to expedite and increase the increase of social homes? Furthermore, the Deputy has referred to deputies. I would just say, Alaska Corla, I didn't interrupt any of the speakers from the opposition side, but it just shows the discourteous nature that they engage in all the time. They do not like the facts. They try to shout people down. The reality of the situation is I will look forward.
Deputies, please.
I asked the Deputy to withdraw that remark. It's personal charges that he makes all the time. And in fairness,
I would say most of the country believe that as well. Here.
Deputy Paul McAuliffe is due to speak here as well this evening.
Minister, thank you.